All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are on the grind, and again, it is some more NASCAR Busch Series action on NASCAR '07 as we are at the midway point on the season and coming in with the points lead for the third consecutive night, extending it just a little bit, just a 5-point advantage more into tonight's race at Daytona than what we had last night at Milwaukee. Of course, with that being said, we got the win. Our 11th win of the season, but Tony Stewart yet again finishing in second place right there with us. I'd like to go back and look one of these days when I'm not doing anything, a day off of work, and see of all my wins where Tony Stewart finished in each and every one of those races. Because he's had to have finished in the top 5 or at the very least second place so many times to me so far this season. And we'll see if he can get his first win here today. This might be the best opportunity for him because I ended up finishing in the 40th place position in the first Daytona race earlier this year. Didn't have enough time to practice before the start of this race here today, so no qualifying. With that being said as well, we're going to jump right into the race, and we will be starting at the back. It's already going to be an uphill climb as it is. It's going to be an even bigger uphill climb for me here in this one. The Winn-Dixie 250. Let's get underway. Wade, thanks for tuning in. I don't know what we're going to have in today's race. We just got to hope for the best. Kevin Harvick on the pole, teammate of ours. Top 6 in points, green flag in the air, and we are racing. And definitely going to want to make a pass as soon as we possibly can. I gave Truex a little bump draft, getting up to speed, and that really bogged this 2-car down a bit. Oh, little contact seemed to be between Brian Vickers and Ryan Hornaday. Mark Martin jumps to the lead. Yeah, not restarting in front of anybody. That's going to kill me off the start. A lot of 3-wide racing in the middle of the pack that I could see already. Bit of a slow up off the exit of turn 4, and this might be the opportunity for Boyer to catch some sort of drafting help in front of him. 1 lap in the books. Mark Martin will lead the first lap of tonight's race. Mark DeMar, thanks for tuning in as well. Happy birthday to you as well. I'll try to win this for your birthday. No guarantees. I don't like my chances here. I always seem to run better at Talladega than I do at Daytona for some reason. But even then, I mean, I have a tough time trying to win that even. At least I tend to get decent finishes at Talladega, but this is going to be a struggle here today, I think. 2 races we finished outside the top 10 this year, Daytona and Atlanta. Might finish outside the top 10 again at Daytona here today. We're going to take our first field pass in the early going and see if Boyer can try to catch up to the rest of the field on his own. As we transfer to Kevin Harvick in the 29, who started on pole and is already back to the 6th place position. Maybe struggling with speed here. Out of the gate, Kyle Busch in the 5, going to get by him on the outside. Same for Matt Kenseth in the 17. No idea where Tony Stewart started this race. Trying to catch some draft on Kyle Busch. I almost... Yeah, that slowed me down. Just that little bit of a tag. It wasn't much. That little bit of contact with Elliott Sadler, and that was a pretty hard hit into the wall for Harvick. Stays in the top 10, lost a couple more spots out of it. There was a hold there. I waited way too long to pull up, though. Harvick's car is just slow. I'm starting to contemplate how he qualified on the pole. When you get in rhythm here, things can be a little better. His car is very light, very loose, too. All right, where's Jeff Burton at in all this? 20th. And something happened off turn 4 behind Jeff Burton because there is nobody there. And obviously nobody in front of him either. Well, that means there's going to be some drafting help back around Clint Boyer, so that part of it's good for us. I mean, we're obviously going to need cautions at some point in this race to have a chance anyway. Top 10 finishing this one would be a decent effort. Yeah, I think so too. If I get out of here with a top 10, I'll be satisfied with that. Even that would feel like a win, honestly. Burton's car feels more stable than Harvick's, I will say, but tough to tell how much speed he has considering there's nobody to draft with. Definitely going to need a couple cautions to try to get off strategy to leapfrog track position. I can only pass so many cars with Boyer. I think there might have been another stack up off turn 4 again. I mean, look at how far back some of those drivers are at the tail end of the field compared to where the race leader Mark Martin's at right now. I mean, they have gotten slowed up so many times. Harvick was a part of that first slow up, that big gap between the lead pack and that second group of cars. That's where that gap came from. Everything else behind, like Jeff Burton, no idea what has happened back there. We'll transfer back to Clint Boyer in the 2. I would imagine this is going to be a straightforward 2-stop race here today.
Alright, consider it done. Number 8 is looking to pass.
Up to 30th. Boyer's gotten through some of that melee then. All right, here we go. Once he was able to catch up to some cars, he's bypassing traffic and up to 27th. I'll take that 7 laps. 43rd to 27th. Get to the lead car of this draft. Work with them and try to get away from everybody else. It looks like the 163 is going to be the one we're going to work with, meaning he's already down on the bottom of the racetrack. Boyer shoves him off into turn 3. Well, I'm drafted in the middle of the corner. That could be a little dangerous. Kind of didn't want to do that. All right, now that's good. Honestly, I've gotten about halfway through the field already. Be careful in the tri-oval and in the corners pushing. Straightaways, as long as I'm lined up all right, I don't see why we should have a problem there. Kind of didn't want to pull to the bottom that quickly, but it looks like the pass will be made anyway for 24th and right in line behind Borisset in the 9 car. And we'll follow him next. Give him the shot, driving it off into turn 3. I can't be afraid to lift when running in line behind. I'm glad I did that field swap when I did, and I'm also lucky that there was some stack-ups at the tail end of the field that allowed for Boyer to make some passes, and I'm glad he was smart enough with the AI driving to make those passes, because I feel like most of the time he would have just kind of sat behind everybody in that situation and not made passes, but he did. See, and this is where like an early caution would be huge for us because we already passed 19 cars. I could get up here and pass Boyer, but I think we're going to be quicker drafting together when he's the lead car. I would just assume. I don't know what kind of single car speed this thing has exactly. I would imagine it's not quick just because of that initial start. We didn't fire off well, but that could have also just been the restart and the fact of not having any cars behind us to stay in the draft. Oh. Got tight myself trying to push him up off the exit of the corner. A couple seconds later, and I wouldn't have had that problem. Didn't lose too much momentum, just lightly grazed it. Everybody's so spread apart in the middle of the field. Well, we're at the back of the pack is bunched together. The very front of the pack is bunched together. A lot of stranded cars. 17.8 seconds off the race lead at the start-finish line that last time by. Ford said Clint Boyer working well together, just as the 163 and Boyer did for only really a lap before we caught said. Problem is, this is a very quick race, so 100 laps is not a long time. Especially when you're, in the draft at Daytona. If this was a real-life race, it'd be a lot slower pace because there'd probably be a wreck fest. The Xfinity Series races at Daytona tend to be, but yeah, not in 2006. There might be a big one. Really didn't want to make that pass, but so slow through the center of the tri-oval. Pass was made anyway. I don't think Boyer's close enough to the back of Kurt Busch in the 39 up here. Close. It's said right in line behind Boyer. We'll see. It wasn't a move I was wanting to make at that time, but it looks like it may work out. Massive run into the center of the corner. Boyer going to lift now that he's caught up to Kurt Busch. I didn't think that was going to work. Not gonna lie, I was a little loose pushing him, but I stayed in the gas and tried to keep as square as I could. Gotta lift quite a bit, get back in line behind him again. I think this two car's got some speed. I easily could have passed him there without really trying. I didn't think I had a big run on him when I pulled out of line. .781 that last lap, and I lifted quite a bit on the back straightaway. We gained a second over the course of the last 3 laps. If we can get to within 6 seconds or so and try a 2-tire strategy under green flag conditions, that could get us the lead, honestly. I don't know that we'll get that close before we pit. I would assume we'll probably end up pitting around lap 35-ish, give or take. Lifted middle of the corner. Just got to make sure he doesn't catch the 138 and pull away from me, which he's kind of doing right now because I had to lift to not hit him in the center of the corner. Kind of a bad timing part for me. All right. Come on, Kurt. I think we're just going to have to make the pass on him and work with the 138 ourselves. Yep. Pass made. Problems for Jeff Burton. Burton's blown a motor already. That's him down in the bottom of the racetrack, actually. There he goes. Another spot for Boyer, but he's lost a teammate. He was just starting to claw back into the top 10 in points. He was 11th coming into this race. I don't know that he's been in the top 10 all year, but started to have a couple of good runs for him the last several races. And fortunately, this engine failure's been dropping further behind 10th. .4856 that last lap, and again, 2 laps, and we gained a second. That's a half a second better pace than the race leader, Mark Martin. I didn't think this was going to be anywhere close to doable. I haven't made a mistake at this point, so, I mean, that's huge. Gonna keep chipping away. I mean, I could see a pack of cars up there. It's kind of 2 of them tailing just a little bit behind them. It's not the lead pack, but it's the second group. Got to keep timing our passes out well when we catch more traffic. 48.410. As if I don't think I could get much faster. I did, and we gained 0.6 of a second. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. Pushing, going off into the corner. And that's going to cost Boyer a lot of time, and he's not going to be able to keep up with the 138. I don't think we hurt the car too bad, but those are the mistakes you got to stay away from. I might have spoken a little too soon when I said I haven't made a mistake yet. There we go. You got to wait for Kurt Busch to catch right back up again. Just after running a 48.410, this lap's going to be so slow. It's going to be the 49s. Getting up against the wall. 50. Oh. that was like 1.9 seconds slower than the lap before that. Oh, that was bad. No drafting help. Here's Kurt Busch. A little loose on that high side. I made an air pressure adjustment from what I had at Daytona earlier this season, so that might be why the car's a little bit more free. It's fast, though. Can't clip that apron. Come on. It might be a little too free. Loose is fast if he can hang on to it. This older, bumpy Daytona surface. The looser setup. Maybe not great for me, but still ran a 49.7 that last lap. Now that we've caught Kurt Busch, we can push him. Big lift points there for the two. Honestly, I'm ecstatic with where we're at right now, even though I made that mistake and lost a spot. But halfway out of gas lap 19, so we're saving gas in the draft too, which is also big. Not trying to pass him. Side by side is going to hurt us. I don't want to lose him. Yeah, I wasn't trying to get to his outside. I had such a big run. I didn't want to push in the middle of the tri-oval. That's the one difficult thing about this game in particular is you don't want to lift as much as you can to keep the momentum up. But it doesn't kill you in certain situations if you can do it right. It's a lot harder when there's more cars around you. Oh, I just turned him. Did he save that? What a save, Kurt Busch. What a save by Kurt Busch in the 39. And the drafting help is lost yet again here for Clint Boyer. We're almost in the window to make it. 2 more stops. I mean, it's going to be a long time until we catch that next car. That's weird I did that on the back straightaway, though. Usually I don't make mistakes pushing them on the straightaways, but I did there. Great save, though. It kept the race green. I didn't want to cause the yellow because that isn't going to do me any good. Lap 22 and up to 20th. I think it might be time for that second field pass of the race, this time by at the line. Swap back to Kevin Harvick in the 29 car and run with him for about 4 laps. Mark Martin has led every lap of this race so far through the first 22 completed at the line. Harvick in 12th. Oh, big squeeze into a hole. Harvick nearly turning himself off Denny Hamlin's front bumper. Can't have Tony Stewart lead laps. This is true. We can't really do anything about it being back in the field where we are, but I have no clue where he's at other than the fact he's not in the lead. That we do know. Because we can't swap to Jeff Burton at all, we'll just run 2 more laps with Harvick, and then that'll be our final field pass of the day. This field is so spaced out right now. I mean, there's guys that are going to be about ready to go a lap down by the time we get into green flag stops at this rate. I've never seen the field this spaced out in a single green flag run at Daytona before. Like, usually, like on Thunder 04, they get spaced out. But it usually takes a couple green flag runs, like a couple pit stop sequences for it to get to that. We haven't even had a pit stop yet. We're only on lap 25. All right, so the 191 car, who had an engine issue in the opening laps, is now coming back out onto the racetrack. .973 that last lap for Harvick. There's Kurt Busch in the 39. There's that 191. That would be Bo Phillips. Phillips going to be a very slow car in this race here today. Wish I didn't suck at super speedways. Trust me, I wish that too. I think we've got a decent car, though, with Boyer, honestly. That was just a random comment, but thanks for tuning in, Michael. And back with Boyer for the rest of the race. What are you doing down here? What? Why are we a lap down in 38th? Are you kidding me? What the heck happened to Clint Boyer? He didn't pit. Oh my goodness. Oh, we were in 20th. What, 17 seconds off the lead, 18 seconds off the lead? And now we're a lap down in 38th? Good grief. No, he didn't pit because I'm still halfway out of gas. Wonder how much fuel I saved running that slow. Oh, this is terrible. This is not good for Clint Boyer. Now we up down lap ourselves somehow. I don't know how we're going to do that. We are in the free pass position right now because Martin has not gotten to lap traffic yet, so we desperately need a caution to get back on the lead lap, and the sooner the better. The sooner we can catch a caution, better chance. Why are we running the outside, Jeremy? I had to lift to keep it off the wall there. Yeah, I can't run that line. Well, yeah, this is not good. Not a good spot to be in. Quarter of a tank of gas left, lap 28. We can't really short pit because it's barely going to be a two-stopper. I'm going to lose him. They scrape the wall. I can't run the outside. I'm too loose to run the top of the racetrack. I'm too loose, but I get really tight, obviously, when I'm that close behind a car, as I just was. I don't want to hit the wall too many more times. I've only hit it twice today, but... Like, we have speed. I don't want to take the speed out of it. I don't know how many hits into the wall it's going to take before I'm not as fast as I once was. Probably wouldn't be many. But yeah, I mean, we're going to have to go about as far as we can in a full fuel run. So I'm pretty sure it was a 3-stop race in our first Daytona race because it was an extra 20 laps. Yeah, Crockett running the outside of the racetrack. I didn't even want to go up there to try to get in line, keep up with her. We are in dire need of a caution here. I can't believe it happened either. He was just down on the apron running 160 miles an hour off the pace. And Kurt Busch, who was down on the apron ever since we almost turned him, he should be 2 down. Oh, man. Kurt Busch trying to give us a caution. Actually allows me to stay with J.J. Yaley. I was about to lose him. I would have lost my drafting partner if Kurt Busch had not done that, so thank you, Kurt. And actually, it looks like I'm going to lose him anyway. I think he's pitting this time. All right, so this is interesting. I might have actually saved a little bit of gas during that holdup because we've got some cars pitting right now, and everybody that's pitting now, I don't think they can make this race on 2 stops. There's quite a few cars on pit road. Position-wise, we're not really going to get anything on them, but yeah, this is definitely an interesting spot to have some pit stops here. How many cars are going to pit? I mean, they go 33, 33. They're going to have to go 33 to 34 laps. I guess technically, because I'm a lap down, that would have been lap 33 for them. So they're going to be borderline on fuel, but I think they actually can make it. We're going to be a little bit better on fuel just because of how slow we were during that 4-lap stretch. It wasn't worth it. It sucks Yaley pitted when he did, because right when I had a drafting partner, I lost him immediately. We're definitely going to have to do a 2-tire stop. It'll be right sides only. Here's Harvick. Help me, Kevin. Help. Help. Yeah, the only way a caution in the middle of green flag stops would help is if everybody on the lead lap in front of me were to pit. And then a caution. Then I'd be back on the lead lap. Harvick down into the pits now. Track map disappeared on me, so I don't really know who the leader may be at the moment. Not going to know who's leading in the middle of green flag pit stops, with that being said. Definitely going to be able to stay out again this time. It's not flashing dark red yet, so it does that, we may be able to go another lap or 2. I mean, I have to stay out as long as I can at this point. Try to get some semblance of track position. I mean, that's... Maybe we catch our lucky break. Still not flashing dark red yet. Once it starts flashing dark red, we can go another lap or 2. Bo Phillips in the 191, slow car. Get around him pretty easily on the back straightaway. Could have gotten a little extra draft off of him before I passed, but I didn't want to risk him blocking me or something like that. All right, so mid, pretty much right as soon as I passed Phillips, it went to dark red, so we definitely could stay out this time. I think I'm going to try to push it another lap because, I mean, it doesn't hurt at this point. I'll go to lap 37. Worst thing that, yeah, I'm back on the lead lap right now. We need a caution, like, right now. We need a yellow immediately before I pit. I'll stay out one more lap. We're going to finish deep in the field if I don't catch a caution in this race anyway. Right back into 20th. Come on. Man, I don't think we're going to get it. One more lap to try to catch this caution. Maybe Bo Phillips running as slow as he is going to wreck someone. Please, we need a yellow so badly right now. I'll never know what happened. Why Boyer was running 160 miles an hour down on the apron for 4 laps. But it costed us a lap.
Number 8 is right behind you.
Yeah, because if I cause the yellow, I can't pit for fuel or tires. So yeah, I can't cause the caution. Well, Boyer's coming in this time. Right sides only. Top it off on fuel, obviously. Going to try to get all we can before getting to the commitment line. Perfect. I mean, I couldn't have been more perfect coming into the pits. So right sides only here for Clint Boyer. No adjustments. I should have probably put a little wedge into it. This might be the only time we're changing rights today. It depends on if we catch any cautions. All right, there we go. Quick stop. It was clean. Ah, Tony Stewart's leading. That's not good. We need a caution right now. I think I'm still in the free pass position. I'm going to let these guys get around first. All right, there we go. Yeah, I think we're still in the free pass position. Because he's so close to the back of the field, but he isn't there yet. So if we caught a caution now, we would get back on the lead lap that way. Man, Tony Stewart cycled to the lead through green flag stops. Mark Martin led every lap up until pit stops. So our next hope is that we get a quick yellow and still get the free pass. We'll be at the tail end of the field, but then I can come down and take 4 tires. And, you know, I know I'm going to be at the back anyway at that point. But if we don't get the free pass, which, I mean, Stewart's getting dangerously close to that lap traffic. He's probably going to catch him in a few laps, so, you know, we'll see. This may be Tony Stewart's first win of the season here today. And if he's able to get his first win, the high banks of Daytona, how clutch would that be for him, considering where Clint Boyer is at right now in the running order? I mean, he may walk out of this race with a 100-plus point lead. Mark Martin caught him again. Martin's still there. So Stewart does get 5 bonus points, but Martin right back to the lead, as he has led the most laps so far. I think something's not right with this car. I cannot keep up with anybody anymore. And I almost wonder if I went down a cylinder in the middle of the field swap And that's why we were running as slow as we were on the apron before I transferred back to Boyer. I know I have older left side tires right now, but even before the pit stop, I couldn't stay with anybody anymore. And I think we're seeing more of the same, unfortunately. This is not good. Honestly, we may be down a cylinder. Because we were actually fast early in the race, and then something happened, and now mid corner, I'm running 176, 177 miles an hour. Kevin Harvick right behind us. Try to work with our teammate. That'd be ideal. I mean, he's going to blow by me so fast. And we're just so slow. I don't think I can hang with them. There are cars behind me. That'll help me potentially keep up. Man, it's so close. We're like right on the edge. I needed that car to stay behind me just a little bit longer. All right, we're going to the outside. We almost lost Harvick, but not quite. There we go. I'm seeing speed now, 193 miles an hour. I see Bo Phillips up against the wall up here too. So Harvick, do not check up, please. Go low, Harvick. Go low, Kevin. He ain't going low, is he? Nope. Gosh darn it, Kevin. Right when I finally found a drafting partner, Bo Phillips. It wasn't even Bo Phillips. Like, he had plenty of time to move down. Oh, well. I don't know about this one, guys. We're going to need a yellow. I mean, at this point, even if I'm not in the free pass position, we need a caution just to get back up with the leader. At the very least. And try to race our way back onto the lead lap on a restart. I don't know how I'm going to do it with no speed in the car, but try to figure something out. Oh, man, if I end up losing him here, I got a little loose off turn 4. I stayed in the gas, though. Still got help behind me. I'm too free. Too free. I knew I should have made a wedge adjustment taking the 2 tires. Got a great battle for the lead going on back and forth between Stewart and Martin. Martin, a one-time winner this season. If I'm not mistaken, I think he won the Atlanta race. And I also had a bad finish in. Burnt blew an engine. Yeah, burnt blew an engine. I'm down a cylinder. Major engine issues for RCR tonight. I mean, the good news is we don't have any more super speedways left this season. As the Busch Series at this time did not take a second trip to Dega like they do nowadays. Struggling to keep up. I'm running 49 2s right now. I was running, what, 47 4s earlier? Like, I mean, this is bad. Look at this. I mean, we're getting split 3 wide. Now these guys are for position, so I'm not trying to block too heavy. If anything, I'm trying to just fall in line behind him, get some drafting help. It'll help me save a little gas too. Not that the only thing saving gas is going to do is me being able to go a little bit further than everybody else, which in return could maybe, lead to a couple extra lap on a fuel run that maybe we catch a yellow at the right time. Like that, that's about all we're hoping for. These 2 guys got woed up so much. It's bogging. Look at that, 184, 185, 186 in the draft. We need to be up in the 190s like we were. how I was able to catch Harvick that first time. They're just not getting that speed up quick enough. I missed the speed we had in the first 25 laps. Where did that speed go? I mean, it's insane. We're literally 2 seconds slower a lap on our own. You know, in the draft, we could salvage a little bit of it, but I can't keep up with anybody. Get behind me, Denny. I keep getting freight trained like this. I'm going to end up 2 laps down before the end of the race if it goes green all the way. At the very least, we have to stay 1 lap down. I know I'm not in the free pass position anymore. But for the sake of, you know, the green flag pit stops that we still have coming, man, I'm not going to be able to lead a lap in the race. I'm going to get any bonus points. 187 car is going right back to the outside again. At least with my car is actually free enough that I'm not getting tight in line behind him. At least I didn't that time. Still prefer if we ran the bottom. Kind of pulling away from Hamlin now. Still don't like that we're running the top. Catching these 2 cars running side by side up ahead of us. Probably catch Bo Phillips every dozen laps or so. I wasn't trying to pass the 187. He's running the high side. I don't want to push him in the center of the tri-oval, and it led to me passing him. Now he went to the bottom. Hamlin just got close enough to me. Oh, come on, stay in the... Denny, you son of a... Why didn't he just stay behind me? I think I was going to keep up with the 187, but the minute he pulled underneath me... For one, I didn't even think there was enough room down there. If he just would have stayed behind me, we could have stayed in the draft still. Dumb Denny. We're halfway and we haven't had a caution at Daytona. I think the field's just too far spread apart. Like I said, I haven't seen anything like this on this game yet. On a super speedway where we get things this spaced out. I mean, our Dega race, didn't we have, what, like 8 cautions in that race? None today. We just blew all of our super speedway cautions in Talladega. We definitely had a few of them at least in the first race, from what I remember.
Halfway there, buddy. How you holding up in there?
Loggins is in the 191. Oh, it's not Bo Phillips. That's weird that some of the fantasy drivers are the same from the truck in the Busch series. I didn't realize that. I mean, I figured they were all the same, honestly. I thought in the earlier reiterations of the game that it was the case, but yeah, I mean, I guess it's only a couple drivers. Gosh, we need a caution. I don't know what a caution right now would do for me, to be completely honest. I mean, again, I know I'm not in the free pass position anymore. I guess at this point, the hope is that we get a caution like in a weird spot at the edge of the pit window or something like that. Like, that's about all I can think of at this rate. What are we hoping for now? A caution with like 36, 37 laps to go? Because at least, you know, although I'd be a lap down, the lap cars would be next to the lead lap cars on the race start, so we would cycle, like, up with the leader, so it'd be almost a full lap. We can make that up with them having to pit under green. So, I mean, that's our only hope of getting a good finish in this race is catching a caution right in that window with a little less than 40 to go. I mean, how lucky we would have to be for something like that to happen. We would have to be so lucky for that to happen. I am going to go 2 laps down before the end of this race, though, if we do go green all the way. There's no way I could keep up with these guys. They're just kind of riding around at this point. I mean, the only thing I can do in a situation where I'm about to go a 2nd lap down is be damn sure that Tony Stewart doesn't win this race. I ain't going to wreck him, but, you know, if I have to choose a line to get in front of, if him and Martin are side by side, I'm not getting in front of Martin. At that point, we just... Oh, boy, I got aero loose going into the corner. I haven't had that on a super speedway in a minute. Aero loose at Daytona. I'm glad he didn't... Oh, you know what? He was a rival. I think that's why he got so close to me. Catching the 191. Oh, man. I like how my car decided to push up the racetrack right as I was trying to pass him. Wow, this thing is... It's starting to get snappy all of a sudden. Still making me wish that I made that wedge adjustment. Yeah, same luck. Maybe maybe that is the logins. I don't like how this car's gotten so snappy free. Hell, at this rate, I mean, I might go 2 laps down before we even get to our last pit stop. I'm not even halfway out of gas yet. No way we make this thing to the end running this slow of a pace. Even if I did, I wouldn't get back to the lead, but we haven't hit halfway. We pitted at lap 37. We've got to get to halfway, like, sometime soon. My pace is so slow, I'm saving gas, I think. Not enough, clearly. Yeah, I just hit halfway. I guess it's about the same. Probably be able to go 37 laps again, so lap 74. Make it to lap 74 before we pit. Well, no, I should be able to get back on the lead lap. I think as long as I stay in front of the leaders when they go to pit, I think I can get back on the lead lap for that short time period. If we don't catch a caution before then, no chance we're finishing on the lead lap today. Now without the speed in the race car, which again, we clearly don't have. I repaired damage when I was down on pit road, so that tells me that we have an engine problem. Which is why we were as slow as we were that dropped us off the lead lap to begin with. I like that save, by the way, just mid-sentence. Thing was wiggling all over the place. Yeah, this car's way too free for my liking. Now, we will be taking lefts only when we pit the next time. In doing so, I don't know if I'm going to make a wedge adjustment, because that'll tighten the car up as it is. I probably should put a half a round in it just to be safe. I just don't want it too tight. I guess taking the 2 tires will... That might give me a chance to finish this thing at least 1 lap down. Rookie mode have fixed the engine issue? I don't know. It might have. Because doesn't it have that thing where you can, like, repair all your damage on rookie mode? No matter how much you have. Like, it just resets the car. As if nothing happened. Thought I remember that being a thing in the EA games. Honestly, we're running pretty decent lap times behind the 109. Once I pulled away from Denny Hamlin, I'm not getting as loose. Without somebody packed on the rear spoiler of this car. I think the smart thing to do when we catch these next two cars up here, just kind of sit in line in the back of this, because it's probably going to be our best opportunity at staying in some sort of a draft. As if he doesn't catch him and draft away from us, which might happen here. Yeah, he's caught Truex. He's pulling us a little bit. Try to get him back on the front stretch. We're reeling him back in this time. I can't hold the exact same line on corner exit because the car's so loose. I'm doing everything I can to not overcorrect it. Oh, I hit the wall again. 40 to go. Stewart leads. Technically 39 laps left for the race leader. I mean, we're at that point. We need a caution, like, right now. Anytime in the next, like, 2 to 3 laps, within the next 2 to 3 laps, that's going to be our only shot of getting a lead lap finish, I think. Because then we can pit and just kind of hope everybody else stays out. Because they don't think they can make it, then maybe we make it. I mean, we're running a slower pace. Our window's 37. I don't know if they can go 37. 38 laps to go right now with where Stewart's at on track. Harvick blocked for us. I don't know if that's going to do much. We'll hope. I mean, he's not even ahead of Stewart anyway. I passed this a while ago. Yeah, I see him flashing up on the track map now.
Sure thing, we'll make it happen.
Can we catch a caution? Like ASAP. Can't beat for me, though, and it almost was. I'm going to lose so much speed now. That was a huge loss. It's every time Denny Hamlin gets behind me. It's always Denny Hamlin. Getting right underneath my rear spoiler, getting me aero loose. I'm sorry. Jesus. We need a caution. I don't know if we're going to get one this whole race at this rate, honestly. Dang. Bad night to have a bad night. Well, here's what's going to happen. We're going to go into Chicagoland tomorrow and try to salvage what we can on the intermediates. We've had decent speed in the Busch Series on the intermediates. I haven't won one, but we've had good speed on them. Getting aero loose with Bernie Lamar behind me now. Gotta keep it off the wall. I mean, we have 36 laps to go. There's cars on pit road right now, so that tells me if we caught a caution, we're definitely going to see everybody pit. Maybe... I know I can go 37. Stewart's pitting right now. I mean, maybe we get lucky and other guys pit, but we're so far back now. even if they had to pit a second time, I don't even know if I'm really going to get many spots. Maybe a couple. It's better than nothing, but just, I'm taking the L now. I'm trying to do whatever I could to not lose hope, but we just never caught that caution. Any of them. Honestly, I'm in my window. I get lapped again, I might as well pit. So I'm not going to fall 3 laps down, so that'll be our strategy. We're going to stay out as long as we can for right now, but as soon as Mark Martin pits... Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's still a chance to cycle out in front of Stewart. I don't think it's going to be possible. There goes Hornaday. And here comes the 6 of Mark Martin. And Boyer now 2 laps down. Yeah, there ain't no way. No way we're staying up in front of Stewart. Somebody's blowing a motor down on the bottom of the track. Is it Tony Stewart? I think Tony Stewart's blowing a motor. Tell me that was Tony Stewart. He's going to go winless again. Oh my... I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, but... Should have pitted that time. I think Tony Stewart blew a motor. Has a couple cars for position. Not going to stay in front of him for very long, but... I don't know. I'm 2 laps down, so he would have been 1 down if it was him. I'm definitely going to gain another spot. I will be 37th in the running order. Martin's pitting right now. It's going to get us back to... Oh, we might as well stay out of the pits now. 1 lap down is better than 2. I'm not going to make them both up, but... I mean, we can still catch a caution, and there'll be a lot of other cars a lap down with us. I'll be at the tail end of them, though, and I don't have much speed, but I'm just trying to give myself hope. I mean, it might be false hope, but it's hope. Nonetheless. Even if it ain't the good one. Rookie mode, you can't repair all the damage. Oh, okay. I think NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. I think I remember that being the case on that game. So they must not have that for 07. Thought I remember that when I was growing up, because I played this in 05 the most. If you're wondering why I have a pit, and obviously I'm losing a lot of time. I'm running 51-second lap times at this rate. We catch a caution, we're 1 lap down instead of 2. That's the only reason I'm staying out. We're not going to go 3 laps down before the end of this race anyway. Catching the 191. Loggins. Oh yeah, definitely gonna be making an adjustment. Well, I mean, I know it could go to lap 74. Sadler's on pit road right now. Both my lefts are in the red, which is why I'm as sideways as I am right now. I'm doing all I can to hang on to it. We're running so slow. I'll have to lose a couple of those positions I gained in the short time. Oh, I'm so sorry. 30 to go. There was nothing I could do there. I got loose, and he just so happened to be on my outside. He's still an ally. He's not mad at me. No rival created there. That's all that matters. Usually the game takes it as if I did that on purpose, which I clearly didn't. Tires are shot. Oh, oh, oh! He almost wrecked. 110 car got against the wall. That wasn't a caution, though. I really wish it was. Hit it harder next time. Got that spot back. For a half a lap, if that. Ugh. I'm just staying in the gas. If I hit the wall, I hit the wall at this point. I mean, this engine's clearly a problem already as it is. All right. Get around me quickly before I wreck. Bring you with me. Oh. I'm going to pit next time. I know I said I could probably make it to lap 74, but maybe I'm burning more fuel not drafting behind anybody. I mean, that makes the most sense, but even though the speed's down, I don't want to risk running out. We still have to finish 38th. Well, 37th technically, because somebody blew a motor. Still don't know who it is. It may be Tony Stewart. If it is, he's only going to finish one position behind me, but that means I'm still in the points lead. And another good news is we're so far ahead of third in the points that, you know, they're still going to be like 400 back. Boyer's coming in. I'm just going to change 4 at this point. Yeah, there's nothing to gain. I'm just going to change 4 and not make an adjustment. It is Tony Stewart. Oh, my goodness. I'll tell you what. I said it was a bad night to have a bad night earlier. I changed my mind. It's a good night to have a bad night. Oh, boy. We dodged a bullet today, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Stewart, while competing for the win, he would have finished probably first or second. Him and Mark Martin were battling for the win. It's Mark Martin's race to lose now. I mean, like, it's all on him if he loses now. You think I lost another lap running that long? No, I've got to be 2 laps down still, right? I just got lapped by Martin, like, as he was pitting. Half a dozen laps ago or so. Get that slow creeping pace, get back up to speed. All right, well, 26 to go this time by for us. 24 for the leaders. I think we're the only one 2 laps down. The only way we're going to get any more positions is if we get any more DNFs in this race. 2 tires wasn't going to get me another spot, I don't believe. We were in 37th as I pitted, so yeah, we're a full lap behind. I took 4 so I had the stability to the end of the race. And we'll really know if my car is still down on speed if I can't keep up with these guys now, which I'm still struggling to. Yeah, something happened to the engine while we were driving as Kevin Harvick earlier, and that's unfortunate. Oh. Still caution-free. Top 2 in points. Could you imagine if there were more than 2 drivers within, like, a couple hundred? Let's say within 200. Or around there. At or around 200 points back. Could you imagine if there was, like, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 200 back with both of us having a DNF? Then we would have, like, 5 guys within 50 points. I mean, it's cool that we're literally... I mean, it's crazy to think that I have a bad race for the first time since the 4th race of the season. It just so happens to be Tony Stewart's first DNF of the season. Like, what a... I mean, this is just insane. That was even plausible. At least our engine issue kept us in the race, because that's going to mean, again, that we will finish better. Now, he's actually going to get more points than me, though, because if he finishes 38th and I finish 37th, remember, he led laps, I didn't. And it's only 3 points per position outside the top 10. So, Stewart's going to actually outpoint me by 2 points today. But even still, I mean, I'll take that. I said a top 10 would be a win. Tony Stewart DNF is a win. Mark Martin trying to go for his 2nd of the season. It would probably take a lot for him not to win. That 191 car slows him up in the right spot for a long period of time. I guess it could bring somebody else in. He'll probably catch him 1 or 2 more times before the end of the race. Depends on where Loggins is at compared to Martin. So if you're just tuning in for the first time and wondering why I suck tonight, we're having engine issues. We're just kind of logging in laps at this point. We had speed earlier. Started last, got up to 20th, and then at some point, right between lap 25 and lap 30 before the first pit stop, we got slow. I did see a red X over us there for a little bit. It was like maybe a half a lap. And we've been slow ever since, and that's why we're 2 laps down and can't keep up with anybody in the draft. The good news is, as you see up on the top of the screen, we came in with a narrow points lead over Tony Stewart. Stewart leading laps, battling back and forth for the lead since pretty much the first pit stop with Mark Martin. Blew an engine. He pitted for the 2nd time. He came out of the pits, and then a lap or 2 after that 2nd stop, about a dozen laps ago or so, he did blow a motor. I thought I saw him on the apron when we made our final stop of the race. We did see him in his pit box, so... Again, he will outscore us by 2 points if we finish 37th where we're at. We're ahead of everybody else we're on the track with. We're the only car 2 laps down. I don't even think there's anybody 3 or 4 laps down. That 191 car, we're faster than, and we're already however many laps ahead of him as we are, so we won't have to worry about him catching us. He might be able to beat Tony Stewart now that I think about it. That's going to be interesting to see if Loggins can log in. See what I did there. Enough laps. Maybe Johnson's slowing up because of this guy. Need 2 cautions? That's not going to matter. I'm the only car 2 laps down, but there's a lot of other cars 1 lap down because we haven't had a yellow and the field's so spaced out. I am curious to see how many cars are going to finish on the lead lap. I can see Martin lapping about half the field, honestly. We've had 1 caution-free Busch race all season. Who would have thought the 2nd would be at Daytona? Got to go to Chicagoland tomorrow night. We're going to have to kick some ass. Get that rebound race. The crazy thing is, I'm going to have a better finish in this Daytona race than I did in the first one earlier this season when I finished 40th. I don't really remember what happened in that one because it was so long ago. I don't know if we got in a crash and ended up finishing back there. Got off pit strategy. It was something. But it wasn't this. We definitely didn't have engine issues like we have right now. But again, this is the final super speedway race of the season, so thank goodness. We haven't had a road course race in the Busch Series yet. We'll have 2 of those. We'll have Old Spice Speedway at some point, and then we'll also have Watkins Glen. I won the only truck road race, and we haven't had one in the Cup Series yet, but the only truck one would have been at the Old Spice Speedway. I'm going to try to stay in front of Kurt Busch as long as I can. He might be for position. Because he was off the pace earlier, but he's faster than us now. I remember him passing us once. He might be 2 laps down with us. I don't even want him to get by me to find out either. I don't know if I'm going to hold him off for 17 laps. I'm just too slow. I'm going to do my best. Well, technically, I only have to hold him off for 15 because we're 2 laps down. I don't think we'll lose another lap for the end of the race, so. Easy Network, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, caution does come out. I'm staying out because I really want to try to stay in front of Kurt Busch. It might not be for position. He might be 3 laps down versus my 2, but I don't know that. Like I said, he was off the pace early, but he got his pace back. So tomorrow's race will be 200 laps at Chicagoland, 300 miles. Typical 1.5 Busch or Xfinity race length. I mean, at least the race pace is up. Not for ourselves, but the race as a whole. You know, I'm glad I did take 4 tires. I'd be a little bit ahead of Kurt, but he would probably still catch me with the pace he's running if I would have taken the lefts only. I have the grip to try to stay in front of him. And we'll continue to have it till the end of the race, so. Again, this might be a spot. This is a... We're not going to know unless he passes us or we get to the end of the race if we stay ahead of him. But, I mean, every position's worth battling for right now, knowing Tony Stewart had a DNF. You know, if he's in 39th and Kurt Busch is 38th, oh boy. 138 car pushed a little wide. Knocked me into the fence. Not worried about him. That's why I left the bottom open for him. I'm only worried about Kurt Busch. He's the only guy who I think could get me for position here. Everybody else, they're either on the lead lap or 1 lap down. I was hoping I could just kind of draft in line behind these other cars. Imagine Kurt Busch is only 1 lap down instead of 2, and he's losing positions because of me this whole time. If we had a live leaderboard and a live ticker like in NASCAR 08 and NASCAR 09, from what I've heard, then Be a lot easier to tell. I can't wait for that game just for that reason. It'll help with these full races. There we go. Come on. Oddly enough, I mean, Kurt Busch runs... Oh, we got another car blowing up, I think. Apron to the racetrack. Dale Jr.? Looked like it might have been Dale Jr. Whoever it is, obviously we're 2 laps down, so if they're on the lead lap, it'll be a couple more laps before we pass them, but that will be another position. And another spot between us and Tony Stewart. And Boyer has caught Brian Vickers somehow. Despite him running that middle to upper groove. Better chance for Boyer to try to stay in front of Kurt Busch here. Once he got close enough to catch Truex's back bumper, he started pulling me. I ran my fastest lap of the race that last lap. 47.928. What? Well, bought myself like 2 laps. Now we have to block for about 8 more. Kurt might have got against the wall. It was hard to tell right off the exit of turn 4. 8 to go. I said we weren't going to go 3 laps down before the end. We might actually go 3 laps down. Martin's that dang fast, and I'm that dang slow. Was it Dale Jr.? Oh, yeah, that was a spot, too, by the way. I'm assuming it was Dale Jr. It looked like him, but it looked like I saw a lot of white on the car. I thought it was his Oreo paint scheme. Oh. Oh, he's probably expecting me to go all the way near the wall, but I didn't want to because I was scared I was going to hit it. I got tight, and then he got tight into me. Halfway out of gas. Gonna make this quick. Come on. Get over here, Paul. Oh, catching the 191. Hopefully this puts some separation between myself and Kurt Busch. Really hope so. Oh, he's pitting, I think. Is he pitting? Yeah, he's pitting. Well, so much for that. I was wondering why he was down on the bottom. Usually he's around the top. That explains it. All right, 6 to go. Can't figure out how I still can't figure out how you use the arrows and not the analog stick. That mind boggled me that day when you said so. I didn't even think anybody was able to do that. It's like, it's way too twitchy for me to be able to do that. I was able to keep up with the 103 earlier. Trying to stay in the draft with him here. Oh boy, Carter almost got underneath me. Almost got to that left rear corner panel enough to try to side draft. Oh, Kurt to the outside. Come on, get the pole. I'm just not getting the pole. I'm just got to consistently staying like 4 to 5 car lengths behind him. There we go. I got enough of a pole down the backstretch. Just able to get clear. If he would have moved to the outside for Kurt Busch to get in the draft, he would have gotten by me easily. How slow this car is. A little bit of draft was enough for me to stay in front of Kurt. That was really the only time he's gotten alongside of me this whole time he's been trapped behind us. Lap 98, 3 laps to go for the race leader, Mark Martin. Somebody just cracked the wall off turn 2 up here. Oh, you know what? It might be Phillips. Because they're still slow. Yeah, it's Phillips after he had cycled out of the pits. He's trying to catch some extra. No, don't do it. Oh, God. Oh, man. I thought he was going to move down. I started moving up. And then he stayed wide, and I couldn't get the turn to the bottom. Might hold up Mark Martin a little bit back there off turn 4. Yeah, he's holding him up. Hopefully Martin's not racing anyone. 2 to go. 3 for us. Yeah, I got to get a little dirty. Sorry, Kurt. Getting dirty for 36th. Use the assist only on road courses. Use limited assists on the road courses.
Number 6, just trying to put you a lap down. Watch the outside.
These two battling for the lead. Both the Roush cars, Kenseth and Martin. White flag, 1 lap to go. Just trying to keep my lap because Kurt Busch is right there behind him. He might draft with one of these guys. I got to stay in front of both of them for that reason. Might be a photo finish here between these. Oh, I just ruined it. I'm so sorry, Mark Martin. I really hope he's still leading. Oh, no, I just gave Matt Kenseth the win. Well, there's Dale Jr. It wasn't him. I didn't know they were going 3 wide. I knew he was underneath me, so I was trying to get out of the way. I didn't realize Mark Martin was up there. All those laps led by Mark Martin. I don't think Kenseth led a lap until the last lap or 2 of this race. Oh my gosh, I feel terrible. I feel terrible. I did not mean to do that. I was trying to get out of the way. I didn't think they were going to split me 3 wide. It's so hard when they're so much faster than you and you're trying to get out of the way and you still can't. Oh my gosh, he led 76 laps too. Kenseth led the last 2 laps, so he would have led side by side at the line. And then obviously that last lap, margin of victory 1.3 seconds. I just killed Mark Martin. First win of the season for Matt Kenseth, but I feel terrible for Mark. I owe him one. I'm going to remember this, and I owe Mark Martin one, because he has every reason to be pissed at me. He might be a rival, and he has every right to be. I wasn't trying to do that. I was trying to get out of the way, but I can imagine the frustration. I was trying to get out of the way. I knew they were racing for the win. I didn't think they were going to go 3 wide, but at the same time, in the last lap of the race, I would have tried to go 3 wide to split them too. So yeah, I was racing Kurt Busch. Oh no, I wasn't. He was a lap behind me. Oh jeez, wasn't even racing Kurt Busch that whole time. I hit him once too. I'm not as sorry about that, but. Kevin Harvick ended up 2 laps down, finishing 35th. What happened to him? Man, did he drop a cylinder too? What a terrible day for RCR. Stewart finishes 40th. Led 18 laps. Jeff Burton blew a motor lap 16. Todd Cleaver, blown engine. Kay Clayton. Tony Stewart, Jeff Burton, as I mentioned. See, Loggins ended up having an engine issue, still finished the race. R. Richardson didn't. That was the guy that we passed 11 to go. Which got us to 36. Kurt Busch had problems early, but ended up finishing 4 laps down. So in all, it's like 7 DNFs, 6 DNFs today. So 6 DNFs, average race speed 181.85 miles per hour, 1 hour, 22 minutes, 28 seconds. Total time of the race, only 10 lead changes. Again, no cautions. Caution free tonight at Daytona. Who would have thought? I don't think a cup race would have done that, considering it would have been like twice the length if it was the Daytona 500. But yeah, 3 laps down, unfortunately. Just got lapped on the final lap to go a 3rd lap down. I didn't think... I underestimated how slow I was, is what happened there. I just can't believe I cost Mark Martin the win, and I feel terrible. Feel terrible. He didn't deserve that. Of all drivers, too, like, Mark Martin doesn't deserve anything like that. You know, Denny Hamlin get me arrow loose a couple times earlier in the race. Like, maybe if he was in that situation, I might have done it, but... Tony Stewart, you know, but... Oh, man, Mark Martin had nothing to do with it. And he dominated. He led all but 24 laps on a super speedway. Like, it's unearthly. Oh, man. I think the 191 car held him up quite a bit, too. I don't think he... If the 191 didn't hold him up like 2 laps before they caught me, I think he was quite a ways ahead of Kenseth. And I think that allowed Kenseth to close the gap a couple seconds and was able to steal the win. That got him to Martin, and then I finished him off. Boyer outscored Stewart by 4 points. Yeah, how many positions was it? 40th to 36. 4 positions. 12. I think it's 7. Yeah, I outscored him by 12 points in the finishing order, and then he had 5 bonus points. I had 0. So it should be 7-point increase for us today, which will go from 34 to 41 if my math is serving me correct. 7-point gain on Stewart, even finishing 36th. I'll take that. Engine failure for him. We know 3rd place on back is way behind the top 2 in points. And tomorrow we head to Chicagoland for the USG Durock 300. I'm late on the mute. I was trying to mute it. I was struggling there. It's muted now. We've got some short tracks coming up, which could be good. Well, more than likely will be good for us. New Hampshire, Martinsville, IRP, all 3 of those races. Red Ball, too. We got 4 straight short tracks in a row once we get through Chicagoland. Yeah, 41-point lead. We gained 7 points on him. 7 points. Kenny Walls gained quite a bit with the top 2 having issues, but he's still 503 back. He was over 600 back. 603 gains 100 points. Yeah, he's going to need us to do that like 4 more times, and then he'll be right back in contention. It wasn't a DNF, but man, we've had 3 really rough finishes. You know what else stinks? My average finish coming into this race was a 6.4. It's going to dip quite a bit after this one. But, hey, I mean, Stewart's still winless on the year, but he's still competing for the title because we obviously had an off day too. It's 41 points, still tight, as we have the second half of the season to play. Appreciate everybody tuning in here this evening. Hopefully you enjoyed, all things considered. I know I didn't bring you much action myself. Sorry to Mark Martin. I will... If he's like, honestly, if he's up in the front of the field while I'm battling for a win or for the lead at any point in the race, I will let him lead because he did not deserve that. So, yeah, I will. Like, if he starts towards the front of the field, I qualify well at Chicagoland, he's right there. I'm going to let him lead. Anything, just kind of sit behind him and try to pull away, save some gas or something. I owe him one. If it comes to a short track, though, even if it's not the next race, at some point in time, I will make sure I do that with Martin in front of me. at some point. I'm sure he'll be up there. I mean, he's won a race on an intermediate already this season, so yeah, his only win was Atlanta, which I figured. All right. 3 finishes outside the top 10 this season, but they were 36th, 40th, and 41st. And that's why we only have a 41-point lead despite winning 11 races to Stewart's 0. Try to get back to victory lane tomorrow night. Have a good rest of your Tuesday, everybody, and see you back better than ever again tomorrow. 6 p.m. Eastern.